Yeah. Okay. No.
So that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And that's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night. This alarm is on. You text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up.
I love that.
Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, motherfucker climb through the window, that money means nothing.
Yeah.
You can have all the celebrity in the world, motherfucker jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing. Yeah. So you got to have a little guard in there.
Let's get active on this.
Your daughter, your mom, your sister, we got that part. This conversation started and should end with men telling you about men and the erasure of men.
Yes.
You don't need to speak to somebody with a daughter to see how a man feels. Speak to a...
So, don't get me wrong, it's content. So we never really know when content is being made, but basically Joe starts getting into this bag when she's trying to make this argument. Basically, I think she asked one of the other co-hosts, "Oh, well, you have daughters, so on and so forth, right?" Because basically, she was arguing against what Anthony Mackie was saying in terms of that statement: is masculinity under attack, and are we witnessing the erasure of men? Because for the most part, we I guess we have to say that because again, for the most part, what she is trying to promote is two different things. For one, is the insecurity that women live with under the guise of feminism, or under when they follow feminism, because feminism teaches them that things that women do don't matter. Being a mother is not important. Being a wife is not important. It's all that stuff is degraded. Keeping a clean house, making sure your kids have a good childhood, helping out in your community with your family, and being a good friend, and being a good lover, and being a good. Don't say all those things don't matter. What matters most is you being Carrie from Sex and the City, because Carrie never did shit for nobody. Carrie Bradshaw ain't had no kids, okay? She ain't had no little brother or sister that she helped raise. Nothing. All she did was write that column, and somehow writing that column made her rich enough to afford the most high end of wardrobes. High end. Like some millionaire shit. They must have been paying her $1 million a year to write that goddamn column. But more modern women, again, like you even go about conversations as if like you're in a video game where you're in the Sims and you're just simming it up. The other conversation I showed you with Tiana Taylor, like when you talk about a divorce and a breakup, just for the sake of your image and your PR, you don't talk about it in a confrontational way. You don't talk about it in a shit talking way. Basically, her tone was basically, you bought this on yourself. I mean, I kept my mouth closed and everything. The fact of the matter is, you was married. How do you marry someone and love someone, and then at the same time, this again, it's what men don't really understand about relationships. Yeah, y'all can have sex. Y'all can be having a good time. But you gotta understand, she is capable of doing some shit like this. All right, and it's like, you know what? I won't say all, right? But I guess when I talk about it, we gotta think about what does it mean? Because it's not like it doesn't hurt that person to lose all these things you worked for. He worked his whole life; those things belong to him. He worked his whole life on things. She's not getting anything taken away from her. For the most part, this is what we mean by like this is you're being rewarded for breaking your family up. That's all. Isn't that reward? You got all these things that's worth millions of dollars. She walked away with mad wealth. $10 million in property? The fuck? So you got $10 million in property so that your daughter's father's not in the house. Not only that, when she talked about it, you can hear her talk about it as if it's not really a big deal. It's not really a big deal. And again, modern women have gone to a point where you are more invested in trying to fuck people over and trying to cheat people and trying to gaslight people, basically manipulation rather than having an honest conversation that leads to resolution. And that's another thing. A lot of women do not want a conflict to be resolved. That's another thing too. Black women do not believe in resolving things with black men. We've seen that too. Black women do not believe in resolving issues with black men. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna let the rest of this play. I'm gonna speak on it a little more.
Fucking man.
Okay, let her get her shit off.
No,
Please.
no, he
Continue.
He completely shut down everything because I can't respond to the Doge thing. I can't respond to the bear thing. I can't because it all factors in. It does. My argument when you keep bringing up this bear shit, it's fucking pissing me off because you are being willfully fucking obtuse. All right, stay fucking there. You two, you have daughters.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you are teaching your daughters in terms of when they go out into the world, how to conduct themselves? Only in terms of their sense of personal safety. Who do they need to keep themselves safe from? Who? And don't just answer the question.
People. Yeah, I was gonna say the world.
Okay.
The world.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
People, like you said, I get where you're trying to go with that. I'm not sitting there. I mean, I'm not at that.
So we can keep it right there. We can keep it right there. The argument that she wants to make is that for the most part, a majority of men are predators, and the world we live in, women have to live in a perpetual state of fear that some evil man is around her thinking and plotting on her box. That is the most egotistical shit in the world. So you saying that you should teach all young ladies that they need to look at all men as predators. That's lazy and it's weak. You know why? Because you're not practicing any kind of discernment. Everything is a case-by-case basis. That's a part of maturity. It's your ability to look at the situation and assess what needs to happen next or the most logical next step. Because she's not saying, like, first of all, the argument was never that where are these podcasts? Where are these men? Where are all these guys who co-sign women being SA'd or saying that's okay or you should get over it or we shouldn't protect kids from that? First of all, men made the laws to make sure that doesn't happen to you. All right, women are not the ones I'm saying who well, my little one's here, so I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so we're talking about the Melyssa Ford and Joe Budden conversation. So I'm gonna try my best to just continue from wherever I was at in that conversation. So I watched Angry Man's breakdown. He had a brilliant breakdown on it. I didn't get a chance to watch the entire thing, but he made a lot of really good points. Now, those are points that I'm expanding on right now, which is the whole concept of victimhood. And there's something, again, it's like Order 66. Kevin Samuels had a show about Order 66, and I think he was talking about more in regards to how black men will crash out over black men and how they're programmed to. Like black people in general, we're programmed to crash out and just go crazy in situations and take it to the absolute extreme. And it's gotten to a point where we all kind of behave like savages and behave like most selfish people in the world, to the point where, like, even celebrities who are in the public eye, they don't think, yo, that makes me look crazy, or this makes me sound crazy, or maybe I shouldn't go about this conversation this way, or maybe I shouldn't approach things this way. You know what I'm saying? And what we see a lot of times is, in terms of how women see themselves, black women in particular have a hard time hearing about black men having an experience and just hearing and just listen to say, oh, that's his experience. A black woman will hear you talk about your experience, especially if it's anything uncomfortable, any kind of pain, any kind of being a victim of any kind, you know what I'm saying? Any kind of issue. If you talk to a black woman about that, she'll either make light of it, or she'll kind of in so many words say to get over it. But it's never a conversation of like, oh man, I'm sorry that happened to you. Well, I'm sorry that you had that experience. You know what I'm saying? And in this conversation, what I really think happened with Joe is that Joe may not be the best communicator in his personal life, and he may be experiencing that in his personal life. And I think that in this conversation, again, a lot of men are just tired of expressing themselves, especially black men in particular, because a lot of black men that never even thought or even had the thought of, you know what, I actually don't got to deal with this shit. I actually don't got to talk to you. We actually don't got to be cool. We don't got to be in a relationship. Because like I always say, in the black community, black men are grown or raised to be able to tolerate disrespect. Whether it's jokes, whether it's passive aggressive jokes, Black men are raised to be able to tolerate disrespect and just let it roll off his shoulder and just see it as, oh, hey, that's what we're doing here, type shit. So let me see if it's a little bit more here, man. I'm already tired, man. I'm gonna play a little more.
A point yet, but it's not. Hey, look out for men. Look out for boys. No, I can look out for people.
Okay,
people are fucked up out here today.
I'm just asking you two specifically.
Wait, hold on. But I'm sorry. She also used the whole daughter thing to basically start to build on this argument with man versus bear, and that we gotta teach girls to be basically to be aware of your surroundings. But again, she wants to say you have to teach little girls in particular to see all men as a threat.
I have a 15-year-old daughter.
He can answer better than
I have a 15-year-old daughter. I tell her to be on the lookout for people, jealous girls, but I also tell her to be on the lookout for older men that's trying to prey on younger girls, offering rides and stuff like that. Okay. Is that where you're getting at? I tell her that, but that's what you learn in growing up, and that's that some men do that.
No, and that is fair, and that is accurate. I can tell you stories of when I was 11 and 8. We had a handyman that used to come to the house. And one day my father was just like, my parents worked. And my dad was literally like, he's coming to the house. Just give him the money for the work that he did, blah, blah, blah. He came to the house. I was there alone. He was drunk and he tried to do some shit to me. It was fucking terrifying because I'm in my own fucking house. And this is somebody that my parents fucking trusted. Mm-hmm. And he came there drunk and it was really bad. That is just one experience.
It seems like they're arguing two completely different things. Joe is talking about the lack of masculinity and being able to talk to boys and men in regards to that. While on the flip, Melyssa Ford is talking about that there's a certain subset of men out there that are hurting women. Both of those.
So I'm gonna stop right there. Shout out to MCR, fair use. Thank you again for providing the clip. So, and he also just made a really good point. And this is what goes on, and this is part of the disconnect. And listen, how I feel about it is I'm not mad about it. I feel like, next generation, we're not going to be getting together. Black men and women, our population will probably go down. I mean, maybe not. I think it's going to probably be more mothers, because the number of women, like black women who have kids with non-black men and they're not married and whatnot, that number may go up. But you're going to start seeing less productive men having kids. You're going to start seeing, because the young men who are growing up now who are going to be productive, a lot of them are not trying to be in relationships. A lot of them are actually just hanging out with their friends and living stress-free. They're just not worrying about the shit. They're just not stressed. it's just that they focus. Like my little brother, like, we had a conversation and and I'm sure that he probably got a little shorty he talked to and stuff like that, but he just sound like, I'm focused on my faith. I'm focused on my craft right now. I'm trying to get licenses and whatnot. So I'm like, man, at that age, at 25, oh my God. I mean, y'all trying to make some shit happen too, but I wasn't. Again, I didn't grow up on content that told young men to focus on themselves and told you to focus on your spirituality and getting away from porn and all these different things. And to a certain degree, it's like a conspiracy, because on one hand you kind of wonder, like, damn, are these things promoted, or young men kind of taught to thirst and lust and simp after women? Because if not, then the human race can't go on, and your numbers will come down. But anywho, but in that conversation in particular, no one co-signed or said at any time that SA didn't exist, that women never experienced that. It's not real, nothing like that. They were talking about teaching young black men masculinity. What Anthony Mackie was talking about in that clip was he was teaching them responsibility, self-awareness, and giving them confidence. He was empowering his young son to feel confident in his ability to oversee his space and take control and be assertive. All right, because that's what's going to activate the courage if need be. No one's saying that he'll be able to save his mother and father, his mother and brother from anything, but he can at least help or something. You know what I'm saying? But it may be a time 10 years from now where he may have to spring into action, and he may have to think on his feet. You know what I mean? And if he don't have no confidence, like what you can't make good decisions with no confidence. Going back to the whole faith aspect, man. Anyway, so overall, man, like, the disconnect between black men and women is just crazy at this point. And I don't think black women kind of understand like how these stories look. You know what I'm saying? Just how like Shorty came online, man. Shit was just crazy. Matter of fact, no, let me see if I can find that clip just hilarious. Talk about the Breakfast Club real quick. Hold on, y'all. YouTube. Let's see. Just hilarious. Talks about Breakfast Club. Oh yeah, boom!
That bitch. Not one person comes to my defense at all. Like when I'm like not one motherfucker ever with this online shit.
This is just hilarious, addressing issues with her job, her career. One of the most serious things in her life. She got on a tie head. Listen, it's a nice tie head. It's kind of weird to put on makeup to put on a tie head, but it's a nice tie head. She got the scarf on, the white beater, the chains, like basically like like she is Super Saiyan hood rap form right here. You understand? She can call a whole army of niggas to come beat you up in this form right here. You can watch that shit. She can scam Elon Musk out of $1 billion at this power level with a gadget this size. But I mostly wanted to show you, like, yo, this is her addressing her colleagues, people she works with, and from the setting, the outfit, the language, she's cussing, and she's on some Smack DVD shit.
Like, why the fuck should we have to keep playing it? Man, listen, I know one thing. Angela, you ain't that motherfucking crazy. Not as crazy as niggas try to make out to be. Nah, it's the reason that lady wanted to leave that show. I don't know how she did that shit for 13 years, my nigga. I'm telling you. I don't give a fuck. Y'all already know what's up with me. I feel played with. I'm gonna play with niggas. Like, that's just like, come on. I've been quiet a lot. If Just Hilarious is quiet, it's a motherfucking reason.
Now, mind you, I'm gonna stop it right there because the language, like, goodness freaking gracious. You know what she's addressing iHeartRadio? iHeartRadio is who's in charge of all this. These are their decisions. It's not, it's either their decisions. It's about them. But anyway, but I wanted to talk about just in terms of now. That's still a relationship, though. It may not be a romantic relationship, but that's a working relationship and a relationship with her and iHeartMedia, right? And no long-term thinking of how is this going to look in the public. Anyway, man, I'm tired, man. I gotta go, man. We out, man. Love y'all. Subscribe to the channel.